In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman.
He will pasture his sheep in many tribulations, leading the flock through darkness.
And when these things are finished, the city of 7 hills will be destroyed.
Subscribe to uncover the hidden patterns of history. The terrible judge will judge his people, bringing an end to the age.
This grim prediction originates from a medieval list attributed to the Irish primate. It claims to catalogue every supreme leader from the 12th century until the end. 112 mottos describe the succession of leaders in cryptic Latin. Scholars debate whether the text is a divine warning or a 16th century forgery. The accuracy of early entries suggests a retrospective creation rather than foresight. Yet, modern alignments have sparked renewed anxiety regarding the timeline of the end.
The list assigns the motto, "Glory of the Olive," to the penultimate leader.
This figure resigned, paving the way for the one designated as the final entry.
Though no likeness remains, the chronicler notes the leader's ascent coincided with the Great Shadow, an omen whispered among the 7 hills.
The gate of the 7-hilled city seals. All that lies beyond is shadow and the waiting silence.
Skeptics argue the ambiguity allows for forced connections between text and reality. Believers see the current global instability as confirmation of the prophesied tribulations.
The text predicts the destruction of the 7-hilled city following this pontificate. Such a cataclysm implies a total collapse of the ancient institution's physical center. Geopolitical tensions surrounding the city offer a potential mechanism for this destruction.
However, the prophecy provides no specific date for when the city falls. It speaks only of a sequence, placing the event at the sequence's end.
The term "many tribulations" suggests a prolonged period of suffering before the climax.
Current scandals within the ancient institution mirror the internal decay, often preceding collapse. External pressures from secular forces align with the prediction of persecution.
The narrative shifts from administrative succession to eschatological finality with the last entry. The identification of the final pontiff relies on interpreting the name Peter.
Current leadership has not adopted this specific name, creating a literal divergence. Interpreters suggest the name symbolizes the role, rather than the actual birth name. He represents the Alpha and Omega of the lineage, echoing the first fisherman. The destruction of the city serves as a symbol for the judgment of nations. Evaluation requires observing if current events escalate into the promised total ruin. If the city remains standing, the prophecy fails its most critical material test. Verification depends entirely on the irreversible physical destruction of the capital. The judge descends. Upon the 7 hills, the sentence falls. The earth is swallowed by the paper of the prophecy, and the city dissolves.
Such a claim cannot be verified by historians, only by the faithful.
We must separate the mystical elements from the observable political warnings.
The list has successfully marked the end of eras in previous centuries.
It predicted the fall of monarchies and the rise of modern secular states.
Now it predicts the termination of the office itself through catastrophe. The witness observes the end. Smoke rises from the streets. The Pontiff rests his hands on the railing. His role is to shepherd the faithful during the collapse of structure. In the waning light, where the pillars of the city cast long shadows, we found solace not in the gilded.
Critics point out that the list has contained errors and gaps before.
Some anti-popes were included, while legitimate leaders were seemingly omitted.
This inconsistency weakens the claim of divine infallibility regarding the list.
Yet the psychological impact of the final entry remains potent and widespread.
It shapes the expectations of millions regarding the near future of the world.
The fear of an apocalypse drives interpretation more than the text itself.
Observable patterns in climate and politics are grafted onto the medieval words.
The prophecy acts as a container for contemporary anxieties about societal collapse.
The distinction must be made between metaphorical decline and literal destruction.
The words carved here speak not in metaphor, but of explicit physical destruction. This fate is inevitable.
The city of 7 hills will be destroyed.
Failure of this event to materialize invalidates the entire prophetic sequence.
We observe the current leader's age and health as factors in the timeline.
The transition to the next phase could occur rapidly given these variables.
If a successor is elected without incident, the last pope theory dissolves.
The prophecy allows for no successors after the final pontiff.
Continuity of the office would disprove the specific claim of finality.
Therefore, the next conclave represents the ultimate test of this prediction.
Until then, the narrative suspends the world in a state of anticipation.
The warnings of tribulation serve as a lens for viewing current hardships.
Every natural disaster is scrutinized for its alignment with the prediction.
Every political conflict is weighed against the promise of persecution. The text demands a climax that history has not yet provided. It requires a break in the continuity of 2,000 years.
Such a break implies a radical shift in the global order.
The final pontiff stands at the threshold of this alleged transformation. Whether he is a herald or a historical footnote remains unproven.
The prophecy concludes not with hope, but with a definitive finality. It offers no vision of a post-apocalyptic renewal for the institution. This finality is unique compared to other mystical writings of the era.
Most prophecies promise restoration.
But this one promises only judgment. The starkness of the ending contributes to its enduring mystique. We remain distinct observers, watching for signs of the promised fall.
The timeline is dictated by the lifespan of the current regime. Reality will soon adjudicate the validity of the medieval vision.
The city stands, the institution functions, and the end remains elusive.
Prophecy waits to be confirmed by fire or dismissed by time.
Tension exists between the stated inevitability and the freedom of human action.
The list ignores the complex mechanics of modern strategic relations.
Reduces the fate of billions to the motto of one man. This reductionism is the hallmark of medieval apocalyptic literature. Yet it captures the fragility of established orders in changing times.
The silence of the text following the judgment is deafening. It leaves the observer with no map for the subsequent era.
We stand at the precipice, defined by these ancient words.
The final verification lies just beyond the horizon of current events.
History alone will reveal if the prophecy was warning or delusion.